When we walk the path of life, we often look for clarity outside of ourselves. We are taught to search for signs in the sky, in others' words, in predictions or in obvious miracles. But the deepest signs do not come with thunder. They come in stillness. They appear when you least expect them, and they do not always announce themselves with noise. Sometimes it is just a change in your breathing. Sometimes it is an inner voice that you had long forgotten. Sometimes it is a discomfort in your heart that doesn't make sense to the mind. These are signs, not of illness, not of misfortune, but of awakening. To receive a sign is to be spoken to by something greater than the mind. It is not normal, because what is normal belongs to the realm of repetition. What is normal belongs to habit, to the known, to the conditioned. But awakening, by its very nature, is not normal. It breaks through the routine. It breaks through the illusion. It asks you to pause, to feel, to observe the sacred intelligence that is guiding your life. And when you notice a sign, when something pierces the veil of your day-to-day unconsciousness, it is a moment of rare grace. It means you are no longer asleep. You are being nudged, gently but unmistakably, toward the direction of your destiny. We often misunderstand these moments. The mind labels them as coincidence. It says, this is strange, or that's nothing, but the heart knows. The heart has ancient wisdom. It recognizes the language of the universe, and it hears the call even before the words are formed. A sign may come as a pattern. You keep seeing the same numbers. You keep hearing the same phrase. A name keeps appearing. A message keeps coming. Your dreams begin to change. Your energy shifts. You begin to withdraw from noise. You crave solitude. These are not accidents. These are messages. Life is not random. It is orchestrated by a wisdom far deeper than logic. And every movement of that wisdom is designed to bring you back into harmony with your true self. Sometimes the sign is subtle, a conversation overheard, a book falling open to a page that speaks directly to your soul, a moment of silence that feels like eternity. And sometimes the sign is sharp, a loss, a breakdown, a closed door. These too are sacred. The universe does not waste energy. It does not make mistakes. Every interruption, every delay, every shift is designed for you. But you must be awake to see it. If you are distracted, you will miss it. If you are obsessed with outcomes, you will dismiss it. If you are filled with fear, you will resist it. So the work is not to find more signs. The work is to become silent enough to see the signs that are already appearing. Because they are always there. Life is always speaking to you. The question is, are you listening? In the Shaolin tradition, the path of the warrior is not about strength. It is about awareness. A true warrior does not wait for life to shout. He listens when it whispers. He trains his senses to detect the unseen. He cultivates inner stillness so that he may respond with clarity, not reaction. And this is your calling now. If you are receiving signs, you are being invited into that same path. You are being called to go deeper into yourself, to stop living on the surface, to stop accepting the story you were told, and begin discovering the truth that you already carry within. This awakening does not happen in the future. It happens now, not in another place, but right here, right where you are. If you are feeling that something is shifting, if you have been noticing things that others ignore, if you feel a pull towards something sacred, know that this is your moment. This is the beginning of something extraordinary. And no, it is not normal. But your soul did not come here to live a normal life. It came here to remember what is eternal. And signs are the way in. They are the gentle knocks at the door of your awareness. And every time you ignore them, the knock becomes a little louder, until one day, life shakes you, because you didn't listen when it whispered. But you are here now. You are listening. That is enough. The path begins in that listening. When you begin to treat life as sacred, life begins to reveal its sacredness to you. When you treat each moment as meaningful, you start to see the meaning that is woven into every moment. And then, signs are no longer rare, they become constant. You begin to walk in a world where everything speaks to you. The wind carries messages. The silence has presence. The breath is not just air. It is life itself entering you. To live like this requires discipline. It requires letting go of the obsession with control, letting go of the idea that you know what is best, letting go of the need to be certain. Certainty belongs to the ego. Trust belongs to the awakened soul. And signs do not come to confirm your plans, they come to realign you with a higher order. So the question is not, what does this sign mean for my goals? The question is, what is this sign trying to awaken in me? Is it asking me to slow down, to forgive, to let go of something I am holding, to turn inward and listen more deeply? You will not always receive answers immediately. Sometimes the sign is the answer. Sometimes it is enough to recognize that you are being spoken to, that you are seen, that you are guided. The world you live in may tell you that such things are fantasy, that intuition is not real, that signs are imagination. But you must remember, truth is not decided by majority. Awakening is not validated by the crowd. You are not here to be normal. You are here to be real. And reality begins when you align with the deeper intelligence of life. That intelligence speaks in signs. And to those who are truly awake, everything becomes a message. In ancient practice, monks would spend years training to heighten their perception, not so that they could predict the future, but so that they could be fully present. Because in presence, all things reveal their essence. A falling leaf is not just a leaf, it is impermanence. A candle flame is not just light, it is transformation. A tear is not weakness, it is cleansing. When you see like this, you see with the eyes of the soul. And when your soul is open, signs are everywhere. Because life speaks the language of symbols. You must learn to feel that language, not decode it with logic. So when something appears in your life, when a pattern repeats, when a sensation arises, when an emotion refuses to leave, do not rush to label it. Do not ask others what it means. Sit with it. Breathe into it. Let it show you its meaning, because you already know. The answers are not outside. The answers live within the silence that you have not yet learned to enter. But now is the time. That is why the sign has come. It is your call to enter the temple within. You may be tempted to think, why me, why now? But those are not the questions of the soul. The soul asks, what now? What is the next right step? And that step is always inward. Begin where you are. Feel what is arising. If it is fear, honor it. If it is longing, listen to it. If it is joy, celebrate it. Every feeling is a doorway. Every sign is a guidepost. And every guidepost is pointing you back to your own inner knowing. The path is not crowded because few have the courage to walk it. But you are here. And that means you are already being chosen. You do not need approval. You do not need permission. You need only presence and the willingness to trust that what is happening in your life is not random. Having this sign is not normal, because what is awakening in you is not ordinary. It is sacred. It is ancient. It is the remembrance of who you truly are. You will not always have the comfort of clarity, but you will always have the compass of your heart. Follow it. When something in you whispers, do not shout over it with thoughts. When your body signals discomfort, do not numb it. When your dreams bring messages, do not discard them. You are being guided in every moment. The signs are not decorations, they are directions. But they only work if you trust them enough to follow. So, walk gently, speak truthfully, breathe consciously, observe silently, and live as if every moment carries meaning, because it does. The sign you are seeing, the feeling you are sensing, the shift you are experiencing, it is real. and it is sacred. You are not imagining it. You are awakening. And that, my friend, is never normal. When the inner world begins to shift, the outer world cannot remain the same. What you hold within yourself is not separate from what you experience around you. They are intimately linked, woven together like breath and body, like mind and motion. And when a sign appears in your life that feels out of the ordinary, it is because something inside you has begun to stir, to open, to awaken from its long sleep. This is not normal, because most people live entire lives without ever hearing the call within themselves. But when you feel something changing inside, even if you do not yet have the words to describe it, that internal movement is the start of transformation that will ripple outward through every corner of your life. Many people seek to change their lives by adjusting what is external. They move to a new place, they seek new relationships, they search for different work, they collect new knowledge. But if the inner being remains unchanged, the outer world quickly returns to the same shape it always had. The patterns repeat, the emotions recycle, the habits reform. And the person finds themselves back where they started, because true change, sacred change, does not begin with action. It begins with awareness. The moment your perception shifts, the world before your eyes becomes different, not because the world changed, but because your inner lens became clearer. You may begin to feel this as a deep discomfort with things that used to satisfy you. The noise of the world begins to grate on you more than before. Conversations that once entertained you begin to feel empty. The activities that used to distract you no longer hold power. People around you may not understand. They may say you have changed, and they are right, but they may not celebrate that change because they are still asleep in the normal rhythm. You must not return to sleep just to make others comfortable. You are not being pulled away from life. You are being pulled toward its essence. The sign you have received, no matter how strange or small it may seem, is not an external anomaly. It is the echo of something happening in your inner temple. It is a vibration that has reached beyond your skin and into your space. It is the language of your soul rising to the surface, asking to be heard. And once you begin to hear it, you cannot unhear it. You may try, you may distract yourself again, but a deeper part of you has already tasted a truth that will not be forgotten. At first, this awakening can feel like confusion. You may ask yourself, what is wrong with me? But the question itself reveals the problem. Because the world has trained us to believe that awakening is wrong, that discomfort is wrong, that solitude is a sickness. But in ancient wisdom, solitude is the place of revelation. Discomfort is the place of birth. Confusion is the place where clarity begins to grow. You are not falling apart. You are falling inward. And in this falling, a new foundation is being laid. One that does not depend on the opinions of others or the validation of the world. One that rises from your own center, from the depth of your being. As this inner shift continues, the outer world begins to change in response. You may find that certain people naturally drift away from you. Conversations fade, doors close. Do not panic. Do not cling. This is not rejection. It is redirection. Nature is clearing space for what aligns with the new frequency you are embodying. You are being emptied, not as punishment, but as preparation. Just as the tree must shed its leaves to conserve energy for new growth, so too must you let go of the unnecessary to make space for the sacred. There may be moments where you feel deeply alone, but in that aloneness, something else begins to grow. A stillness, a peace, a presence. You begin to hear your own thoughts more clearly. You begin to question the stories you were told. And slowly, gently, you begin to remember who you truly are. Not the version shaped by society, but the original essence that existed before the world gave you a name. This is why having a sign is not normal, because it means you are no longer living from memory. You are no longer running on unconscious momentum. You are beginning to wake up. And when the soul wakes up, it is like lighting a candle in a dark room. The shadows cannot stay. They begin to flee. But sometimes, before they disappear, they appear stronger. Do not fear this. It is simply the last gasp of what is being released. Stay steady. Breathe deeply. Let what is false fall away. There may also be a growing desire within you for simplicity. You begin to clean your space, to remove excess. You begin to seek natural environments, to walk slowly, to eat more consciously, to breathe with intention. These are not small changes. They are profound reflections of your inner alignment. The soul longs for purity, for clarity, for spaciousness. When you align with the soul, you begin to unburden yourself from the weight of the unnecessary. People may not understand. They may ask you why you are doing these things, but you do not owe them an explanation. Your life is your temple, and not everyone is ready to enter it. Some must wait outside until they too receive their sign. Until then, walk your path with compassion, not arrogance. The sign you received does not make you superior. It makes you responsible. Responsible for your own evolution. Responsible for your own peace. Responsible for your own truth. This truth is not a doctrine. It is not a belief. It is a felt sense. It is a direct knowing. And as it grows stronger within you, you begin to feel more grounded, even in uncertainty. You begin to trust the invisible current that is carrying you. You begin to walk not in fear, but in faith. Not in haste, but in harmony. This is how the inner world changes the outer world. Not by force, but by frequency. Everything is frequency. Your thoughts carry a vibration. Your words carry a vibration. Your intentions shape the energy around you. And when your inner world becomes calm, focused, aligned, the outer world reflects that calm. It begins to open in new ways. Synchronicities increase. You meet people who are on similar paths. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, not because of luck, but because of resonance. And then, resonance like attracts like. The universe arranges itself around your vibration, and the sign you receive is simply the first spark that shows you the fire within is ready to burn. You do not need to chase outcomes. You only need to stay aligned. You do not need to force change. You only need to remain receptive. The more you honor the inner world, the more the outer world becomes a reflection of your wholeness. And then you begin to realize that you are not separate from life. You are life. Not a wave separate from the ocean, but the ocean moving as a wave. And the wave does not worry where it is going. It simply moves in harmony with the whole. Let your actions arise from stillness. Let your words arise from presence. Let your choices arise from deep listening. This is the path of the awakened being, not loud, not proud, but clear, silent, purposeful. And when others see you walking with this kind of peace, they will ask, what changed? And you will know that nothing changed outside, everything changed within. But do not rush to teach. Do not rush to explain. Let your presence speak louder than your voice. Let your stillness become your message. Because people do not awaken through words alone. They awaken through vibration, through the feeling they get when they are in your presence. And if your inner world is filled with stillness, with love, with clarity, they will feel it, even if they do not understand it. That is how you become a living sign for others. Not by preaching, but by being. Not by telling them what to see, but by showing them how to see. You are not here to convince. You are here to embody. And your embodiment begins with honoring the sign that started your journey. Return to it. Meditate with it. Reflect on it. Ask it what it is trying to show you. And listen, not with your mind, but with your whole being. The answer may not come in words. It may come as a feeling, as a shift, as a knowing that cannot be explained. Trust it. Follow it. Let it carry you deeper. And as you go deeper, the outer world may begin to challenge you. Not because you are wrong, but because the old world resists the birth of the new. People may question your choices. Systems may push back. You may feel torn between what was and what is becoming, but this is the crossing. This is the threshold, and it is here that you must remember the truth. The outer world cannot stay the same if you are no longer the same. The world is simply mirroring your transformation. So do not try to fix the mirror. Transform the face that it reflects. Do not chase outcomes. Return to your essence. Do not cling to what is falling. Open to what is rising. Because what is rising within you is not just a new idea. It is a new way of being, a deeper integrity, a higher frequency, a fuller embodiment of who you were always meant to be. And so, when a sign comes, honor it. Not as something strange, but as something sacred. It is not there to entertain you. It is there to awaken you. It is not there to impress you. It is there to impress upon you a deeper responsibility. You have seen the glimpse. Now walk the path. You have felt the call. Now live the answer. The outer world will change, but only as quickly as the inner world allows. So keep your temple clean. Keep your awareness sharp. Keep your breath steady. And remember, when the inner world changes, the outer world reflects it. Not always immediately, but always inevitably. Because your vibration is your message. Your inner state is your magnet. And your life is your living meditation. There is something very powerful that happens when your soul begins to withdraw from the noise of the world. It is not something you choose with the mind. It is something that emerges from a place deeper than thought. You start to feel less interested in distractions, less attached to the entertainment that once pulled your attention so easily. The desire to prove yourself begins to fade. The constant race to be seen, to be heard, to be praised. It begins to feel shallow, almost silly. This change is not loud. It is quiet, almost imperceptible at first. But it carries great weight, because it marks the moment when your inner world begins to mature. This is not a normal stage of life. This is a sacred stage of inner growth. And when this happens, you must understand, you are not losing yourself. Many people live as performers on the stage of the world. Every thought they share is shaped to gain approval. Every image they present is filtered to look perfect. Every word they speak is carefully chosen to win praise or to avoid conflict. This performance can last for years, decades, even a lifetime. But eventually, for the few who are truly listening inwardly, the performance begins to feel hollow. The applause no longer satisfies. The spotlight begins to burn instead of shine, and in that moment of quiet disillusionment, a sign appears, a subtle message from the soul. It says, "Come back. Come back home." This sign can be as small as a moment of deep discomfort in a crowded room where everyone is talking, but no one is saying anything real. It can be as simple as a sudden craving for silence in the middle of a busy day, or it can be a complete breakdown, a moment when the world you built no longer holds your spirit and everything you've clung to begins to fall away. No matter how the sign arrives, the message is the same. You are ready to go deeper. You are ready to leave the surface and explore the depth of your being. But this is not an easy path. It is not glamorous. It is not filled with recognition. The inner path requires you to let go of things that once defined you. It asks you to walk alone for a while, not because you are being punished, but because you are being purified. The soul must detox from the opinions of others, from the noise of the world, from the addiction to stimulation. Only then can it hear its own voice. Only then can it begin to lead the way. This withdrawal from the world does not mean rejecting it with anger. It does not mean judging those who are still asleep. It simply means choosing stillness over noise, depth over image, truth over approval. It means no longer needing to explain yourself. It means no longer begging to be understood. Because the more you understand yourself, the less you need others to understand you. The more you rest in your own presence, the less you crave external company. There will be moments of loneliness, But that loneliness will not be empty. It will be full of potential, full of quiet power. In those moments, you are meeting yourself again. You are learning to sit with the parts of yourself you once ran from. You are learning to hold silence without fear. You are learning to let go of the masks that once protected you. This is the work of the soul. It is not normal, because most people never do it, but for those who do, life begins to unfold in a very different way. You start to see with new eyes. You notice things you never noticed before. The way the wind touches your skin, the sound of your breath, the energy of the space around you. You begin to feel more deeply, but you also suffer less. Because suffering is often the result of resistance. And when you begin to trust the flow of life, you stop resisting. You start to welcome everything, not just the pleasant moments, but the painful ones too. You stop trying to control everything. You start to participate with presence. In this space of presence, the world feels different. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Your senses become sharper. Your heart becomes softer. Your mind becomes quieter. You are no longer seeking meaning. You are embodying it. You are no longer asking, what is my purpose? Because you realize that purpose is not something you find. It is something you live. And living with presence, with integrity, with stillness, that is purpose in action. The beauty of this path is that you do not need to abandon the world. You simply engage with it differently. You no longer seek to escape. You no longer seek to conquer. You simply show up fully. And in that fullness, life becomes sacred. The mundane becomes meaningful. Even the smallest act, washing a cup, walking across a room, sitting in silence, becomes an expression of peace. Because you are no longer doing things to get somewhere, you are doing them from a place of completeness. This is why the sign you have received is not normal. Because it has taken you beyond the ordinary rhythm of life. It has opened a doorway to the eternal, to the unseen, to the dimension that cannot be measured with logic or captured with language. It has made you sensitive to energy, to presence, to the feeling of truth. And now you can no longer tolerate what is false, not in others and not in yourself. This can make life more difficult for a time because the world is full of illusion and you can now see it. You may struggle in environments that are filled with dishonesty or superficiality. You may feel overwhelmed by the speed and noise of modern life. But this sensitivity is not a weakness, it is a gift. It is your compass. It is what helps you navigate through a world that has lost its way. It is what keeps you rooted in truth when everything else tries to pull you away. And so you must honor this inner movement. Do not ignore it. Do not bury it under distractions. Listen to it. Let it guide you. If it asks you to slow down, slow down. If it asks you to rest, rest. If it asks you to be alone, honor that solitude. Your soul knows what you need, and if you trust it, it will not lead you astray. It may take you through uncomfortable terrain, but it will always lead you to peace. There is nothing to chase anymore, nothing to prove. You are not here to impress, you are here to express. And true expression does not come from performance. It comes from presence. It flows naturally from the one who is empty of ego but full of life. From the one who has stopped trying to be someone and has started simply being. From the one who no longer clings to identity but embraces reality. This is the art of inner freedom. And it begins when you stop chasing the world and start listening to your own being. The more you walk this path, the more you begin to feel a subtle joy that does not depend on conditions. It is not the joy of winning or achieving. It is the joy of being. It is the joy of connection. It is the joy of breathing in and knowing that you are alive, not just physically, but spiritually. It is the joy of knowing that no matter what happens outside, your inner sanctuary is intact, untouched, silent, whole. Eventually, others will notice. They may not be able to explain it, but they will feel something in your presence. They will sense the stillness, the depth, the peace. And some of them will begin to ask questions, not because you told them to, but because they are drawn to what you carry. You have become a lighthouse, a quiet reminder that there is another way to live, that there is more to this life than noise, than speed, than striving. And this is how the sign you received begins to ripple out into the world, not through force, not through preaching, but through silent radiance, through the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you listen, through the way you show up fully without needing anything in return. This is the true revolution. Not changing the world by fighting it, but by embodying a different vibration entirely, a vibration that is still grounded and awake. So when your soul begins to withdraw from the noise of the world, do not panic. Do not think something is wrong. You are not becoming disconnected. You are becoming more deeply connected than ever before. Connected not to the illusions of society, but to the truth within yourself. And from that connection, everything becomes clear. You know what to say and what to leave unsaid. You know when to act and when to rest. You know who you are, not because someone told you, but because you remembered. This remembrance is the great return, and it always begins with a sign, a shift, a whisper, something that tells you it's time. Time to stop running, time to stop pretending, time to come home. And once you have felt this, truly felt it, you will never again be satisfied with the superficial, because you have tasted something real, and realness is now your only path. So be gentle with yourself as you walk this new path. There is no map, no checklist, only presence, only trust. Walk slowly, breathe deeply, listen often, and know that even when the world is loud, you can be silent. Even when the world is chaotic, you can be still. Even when the world is asleep, you can remain awake. Because you have seen the sign, you have answered the call, and that is not normal, it is sacred.